Hello everyone, I'm Braxton Teo and I'm joined by
Ekebek.
and today is our fourth and unfortunately last episode of our CAS project.
Yep, will be missed.
We'll be missed. That's a bit of arrogance. We'll be missed.
Definitely.
So today we're gonna be talking about something more heavy.
Yep,
In the sense that our previous episodes have been kind of light-hearted and fun.
Yeah.
But today we're gonna be talking about the death penalty.
Human rights.
And to what extent is the death penalty okay? And
Is it?
Is
Is it okay?
Is it okay? And
Perhaps.
should we implement the death penalty?
Yeah, or should we not?
So to give you a bit of a background information, I'm personally from Singapore, and in Singapore we do have the death penalty. So we do get a bit of backlash from the death penalty from certain countries.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think about it?
Well, it is quite natural that you get some backlash for it because death penalty is a very controversial topic and it has been controversial for a very long time. And I'm a person from Turkey. We have abolished death penalty in 2004. So I was born in 2005. I haven't seen death penalty being executed.
Right.
But my fathers have, my parents and my grandparents have, and they don't speak fondly of it, I have to say. Sometimes they do agree it is necessary evil, but most of the time they say it is a way of getting rid of someone with no return.
Okay.
So it can be used in very wrong ways, and that's one of the reasons why most people have issues with it, because you don't know for what the death penalty is being given to. You can never be certain if it's really worth it. How do you measure that?
Right.
It's human lives you're toying with. You don't measure, and there's always the religious argument. You're playing God, but we're not really religious. Sorry.
In a sense that in those advanced European countries, especially in the EU, they oppose the death penalty so much because, like Ege, you said, it violates human rights and it's inhumane and everything. But I think a specific perspective that Singapore takes is that it's pragmatic to adopt the death penalty in a sense that, first of all, it deters crime. I think statistically it deters crime.
There's very low crime rate in Singapore, right, if I'm wrong?
Very low crime rate.
Yeah, very low.
And we just punish you guys if you do stuff like drug trafficking, for example. And if you
crimes.
Drug traffic, like, I think if I'm not wrong, above 100 grams, you get hanged, you get hung.
Get hanged for 100 grams only.
And the statistics show that without the death penalty, Singapore would have 5 times more drugs.
Yeah.
And ever since we implemented the death penalty, it has reduced by over 5-folds.
Ruling by fear.
Ruling by fear, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's really a bad thing though. If it saves so many lives and...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is still a human life after all. And I do know that drugs ruin many people's lives, but is it really in their hands? I mean, the drug traffickers are kind of like the middle way. They're not really the ones telling them to ruin their lives. And I do know it is a horrible crime and it is detestable, but is it really deserving of the death penalty?
I understand your point of view. I guess I want to add another point of view is that a drug trafficker could ruin thousands of lives. Yeah. Like indirectly breaks up families, it encourages crime, you know, it reduces labor productivity. But I think, for me, I personally agree with the death penalty. I think in certain states it might work.
Certain states.
But
I don't really want to quote this, but to quote Batman.
okay, this is getting serious. This is getting serious.
Okay, sorry, apologies. Okay, when you kill someone, the amount of murders in the world doesn't go down, for example. And this applies to only murders, but for drug dealers, then you get one less drug deal, then you get one murder. Is it really a fair trade? And you are saying that they indirectly ruin lives and maybe even take lives. But technically they don't claim responsibility for it because in the end it is your option to buy and use those drugs. And that's one of the main reasons why usually the drug dealing's penalty isn't death.
Right. I agree. But okay, let's talk about something where it's really an eye for an eye. Like, for example, somebody murdered someone. Do you think the appropriate punishment would be death penalty? Or just the maximum would be life in prison? That's it.
Yeah, that is definitely a better approach at the thing, because it is more easy to measure. Because the other one you're measuring drugs and potential lives, while in this one you're measuring a life for a life.
I've heard an interesting argument is that if you take away a life, you lose your right to live.
Yeah.
Like, when you take away a person's life and you take away another person's right to live, why should you have
the rights yourself?
right, the human right? Why should you be protected by the law to continue living? I think that's a really good argument I heard from, I think, Ben Shapiro. I don't know if you guys know about him, but
yeah, we're more famous than him.
Yeah, we're more famous than him.
Definitely.
So that was an interesting argument, I must say.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting, because it really gives you the perspective of how, you know, you're doing a deed that's considered monstrous. So if you're becoming a monster, why should you still be protected by a human law?
Right.
When you're not considered humane yourself at this point.
Yeah, and there was one interesting documentary on Netflix called, I think, July 22nd or July 24th, I can't remember. And it was a mass murderer who killed like 77 people in Norway.
Wow.
And the prison sentence they gave him was 25 years.
25? Was
25
that like
years.
the maximum life sentence?
The maximum life sentence that you can give someone in Norway is 25. You can top up the extent, yeah.
Did he get an extension?
Well, it's not been 25 years, so we might see.
So it's a very recent case.
Yeah, it's a really recent case.
And do you believe they will give him an extension?
I would say so. They will give him an extension because they deem him to be dangerous to society.
Well, I believe so. I mean,
74,
77
yeah,
quite a lot, I would say. I mean, I don't think we have that much people in our class even.
Exactly.
Our classes. Yeah. We were like 8 people in our class, so.
And well, he doesn't have to do the death penalty. He doesn't die because in Norway there's no death penalty.
Yeah.
They are super humane country. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of unfair.
I feel like I don't say this lightly because it is a human life. I'm speaking out loud. I feel like in that case, I support the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you've gone that far, there should be no laws protecting you at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that penalty is not like back in the day where there were very inhumane ways of killing, such as burning the witch. You're getting killed by, let's say, euthanasia.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to feel a thing. While the people you murdered wonder how they felt, you know. You're still dying in a very human right way, and you took them in a very inhumane way, most likely. I think it's very... It's still not fair. I mean, you should get punished more for it, but then we lose our humanity.
There's a common misconception that when you're in the death penalty, you don't have to serve time. I mean, I know like some people, they stay in prison for 10 years before they actually get hung.
Yeah,
it's called the death row, right?
Death row.
So it's not something immediate where you get a death penalty and the next day they just hang you.
Exactly. It's not a quick process.
Exactly. So I don't see the point in holding someone in a jail for like 100 years and he dies in the jail because anyways, he's gonna die in the jail.
Yeah,
so
if anything, he gets to enjoy his life in the jail at least.
Exactly.
That's not much
Free
of a
food.
punishment. Yeah.
And talking about free food,
free accommodation, a bed,
isn't it expensive for the state?
It is. But that's where another argument comes in, where registering euthanasia, I mean, you're not hanging them anymore because we deemed it unfair or inhumane rather, because we argued that it hurts to get hung. So now we've been delivering euthanasia, most likely for it is applied. And what euthanasia is it is a very expensive process as well. So now we're considering which one is more costly. However, I would say, let's say that guy lived to 100 years old. I will say feeding him, giving him accommodation is more expensive.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a better thing about the death penalty is it completely removes the threat of the person escaping.
Yeah.
For example, if you have some very dangerous prisoner and there's a high chance of him escaping, well, just kidding.
Yep. Get rid of the root.
I think so, yeah, but hey, everybody to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, jailbreaks aren't very common these days. Thank God. However, it can still happen.
Has happened many times with drug lords. Like, look at El Chapo. You know El Chapo from Mexico. He has escaped like what, once, twice, maximum security prisons.
Yeah, doesn't
complete
really
drug dealer.
affect much.
Yeah, complete like drug dealer boss.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just not fair.
He poses a threat, and he's now in a prison. He's eating for free, sleeps for free.
Yeah.
And it's our taxpayers' money.
Yeah, probably lives better than most homeless people even.
Right.
And he gets to do it for free. For what? Doing crime. Good job. I mean, it kind of feels like getting rewarded for doing the bad thing.
Right.
So many people you killed or you ruined lives of, they don't get to enjoy those commodities that you're getting at that point.
So I would say that, I don't know, because I'm not an expert, but the people who are pro death penalty are more pragmatic, and the people who are against death penalty are more like morally concerned.
I'd say there's a very thin line between the two, and I think there is a line where we need to draw. For example, I don't support people getting killed for drug dealing. However, I do support mass murderers maybe getting euthanasia.
Or rape, I don't know.
Rape. Could be sexual assault, that is a very serious crime as well. Depends on how hard, because there's also the psychological aspect of do they get treatment or do they get the death penalty or do they get prison. That is also something to consider, their mental health or wrongly accused people. Rape, that is one of the most commonly wrongly accused crimes that are committed these days. Lots of men have been imprisoned for crimes they did not commit, just because the law says so.
Right.
And there is very hard to prove these. So, let's say we did give that penalty to this, then how many young people or men will have died without even getting proven that they were innocent? In the end, there is a very thin line between the two of them that should definitely not be crossed, as I've said before, and we should be very careful when applying the death penalty and make sure all the rules and presented evidence are in regulation. And some crimes should definitely get the death penalty. And I believe I do support it.
Yeah, me too. But this is our personal opinions.
We're not really human rights activists or professionals.
Or lawyers, or politicians, whatever. You guys are free to have your own opinions.
Exactly. We're just sharing ours. We're humble podcasters, and this was our CAS project. Thank you very much.
I think we had a good podcast, and I want to say, again, thank you for joining me for this past.
I thank you for joining me too. It
for
was very
episodes.
fun.
It was very fun. We learned a lot.
Yeah, we had a good run.
And we thank you guys for supporting me. And unfortunately, our G12 IB is coming to an end.
Yeah.
So Braxton and AJ signing out.